It is my pleasure to introduce each of our Distinguished Faculty Award winners today. We're going to start with Dr. Luna Zhang. Luna Zhang is the winner of our Distinguished Research Award from the Milgard School of Business. Her talk is entitled, "If Platforms Are Exploiting Producers, Is Platform Competition the Solution?" Dr. Zhang is the interim director of the MS in Business Analytics program and an assistant professor of business analytics. I'm going to talk a little bit about your bio. Her research interests include consumer behavior, mobile commerce, platform economy, revenue sharing, business analytics, large-scale data analysis, and information systems and operation management interface. Dr. Zhang's current project focuses on consumer search and purchase in mobile commerce and revenue sharing in the platform economy. She won the Best Paper Award at the Conference on Information Systems and Technology, CIST, in 2021. Dr. Zhang previously taught Introduction to Information Systems, Demand and Supply Chain Planning, and Money, Banking, and Financial Markets at Lehigh University. She teaches various topics in analytics and operations management for undergraduate, Master of Science in Business Analytics, and MBA programs. She has received the 2020 Students' Choice Voting Outstanding Faculty Award at the University of Washington, Tacoma. She has led the Analytics Innovation Student Club as a faculty advisor, who went on to win the 2020 Informed Student Chapter Annual Award, cum laude. I give you Dr. Luna Zhang.
Well, thank you, Dr. Toffen, and thank you, Dr. Lan, Dr. Harris, and Dr. Moderis, and thank you everyone for coming and having me here. So first of all, before I start my presentation, I would like to extend my gratefulness to my wonderful school, Milgard School of Business. I cannot make it here without the support of my wonderful school, from the Dean Merchant and also Associate Dean Cao, and also my wonderful colleagues who always support me. There, Shanini there as well, and also, my wonderful co-authors. I cannot make this just by myself. So I just want to give you a little bit, background about myself, about what I do as a researcher. So mainly my research interests are twofold. The first one is the firm's operations on consumer search and purchase. I started this journey when I was a PhD student, and I was absolutely fascinated with how consumers behave in the online and offline world. So I studied the front end about how the firms reach out to the consumers. For instance, using call center. I'm pretty sure that everybody has some wonderful experience about waiting for like an hour to get the call through. So I was the expert doing that, and you can ask me anything about the call center. And I am also, researching on how consumer purchase between online and offline world. So most importantly, recently, when you teach the Gen Z, they are always on their phones. I also study how they behave on the mobile commerce there. So how to search and how to make a purchase on the mobile commerce as well. And of course, I have some supply chain management background, so I would like to dig deeper into the back end of this, all the firms, to look at how they manage their operations management and supply chain management to make, the shelf, filled with like tens of thousands different, items on the shelf. So this is really some back-end work. So recently, I started my journey, especially during the pandemic. I've started a new journey on my research interest. I started to study the platform economy. So platform, you can think about that like most of the high-tech companies, they offer platforms to match the consumers and the suppliers. For instance, everybody's favorite Amazon, every day you purchase from Amazon. Actually, Amazon do not sell, most of the time, they do not sell everything. They just match you with a seller so that you can purchase from Amazon. And also from Apple or Google, if you want to download an app, of course, Apple and Google will develop some apps, but most of the apps are developed by the third parties. So I really want to dig deeper, and especially we are in the Pacific Northwest, and we are the home to Amazon and what else? Microsoft. So I want to understand, how those platform economy impact our daily life as well. So this paper actually is, I really want to highlight this paper, one of my most proud working paper right now to you guys. So the title is If the Platforms Are Exploiting Producers, Is Platform Competition the Solution? So I have my wonderful colleagues from University of Houston and UC Davis, and it's very fascinating journey because actually the last co-author, he was on the public hearing and the state capital of state of California about platform, how do platforms protect consumer privacy, and some thoughts on that. So basically, the platforms, not only including everybody's familiar Apple and Google, Amazon, but also a lot of people like to order online for food. So the food delivery platforms as well as the ride-sharing platforms. So basically, those platforms do not own any products or services. What they do is that they provide a marketplace to match the consumers or suppliers. So the suppliers can be any third-party sellers, or even a driver for Uber Eats, Uber, Lyft, or even like some, game developers that, you can download the game from. And recently, everybody's talking about OpenAI, ChatGPT. So those platforms also include the ChatGPT because a lot of the platforms, they make a revenue by charging the producers or the suppliers a commission fee. Right. I know that some people have some experience selling on Amazon, so you know what I'm talking about. So in the future, we believe that OpenAI will also use the same business models. So that actually apply to any type of the platform you can think about. So actually, this is a series of the research here. Is that I'm not sure how many of you heard about the big lawsuit from Epic Game to Apple 2 years ago. I know the gaming company, I'm not sure, like faculty people may not play games, but if you talk about Gen Z students, oh my goodness, they spend tons of time on playing game and they know about this, right? So one of the biggest provider of the games is Epic Games. So Epic Games is a stellar producer on Apple. However, Apple charges 30% of commission. So if you think about this, every dollar Epic Games makes, like 30 cents will go to Apple. So of course, Epic Games is not happy, and then they sued Apple about this high commission fee and also about Apple's monopoly power there. So 2 years ago, we started this journey to examine if the platforms reduce the commission rate from the standard 30% to 15%, what will happen? Right. So we end up a very productive research project, and that is published in one of the top journals in the management science. So nowadays, we still have a lot of questions, even though that the platform actually, including Apple and Google, reduce their commission rate from 30% to 15% to specifically small producers who earn less than $1 million in revenue. But again, when you take a Lyft, when you take a Uber, sometimes you can see, the driver's app and your app, and then when you compare, sometimes you pay $20 for the driving service, and the driver can only receive $8, which means more than half of the money goes to the platform. And this is so fascinating because, as a consumer, we can not only choose Uber, but also we can choose Lyft. Right? And people always talk about, competition is so good, and competition is the solution for the monopoly power. But still, when you talk with the Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, they complain all the time. They don't make enough money. Actually, a lot of them quit their job as a Uber driver because of this high commission fee. So we really want to understand what is going on. Even though we have like competition between platforms, why do we still see such a high monopoly power there? And if you go to White House website, and they also say, oh, competition is a solution for everything. They can provide a better workplace and also provide more benefits for the consumers. But what we observe is totally different case, right? So, that's why we want to understand how does competition affect, the platform as a whole economy, what will happen to the producers, and what will happen to the platform as well. So I will really want to skip the nitty-gritty like mathematic details because I know my student won't like it and you probably don't like it either. So I'll just go to my key findings. So after my talk, perhaps you will remember something from what I said. So basically, we observe, we find that the competition can decrease the participation. So imagine that, like I said, a lot of Uber drivers and Lyft drivers, they quit being a Uber driver or Lyft driver because of the high commission fee. And we actually find that the competition is not a solution for that, for that type of participation. And even with not only Uber, but also Lyft, and also for the food delivery platform, not only DoorDash, Uber Eats, right? And you have some niche delivery platforms, the competition sometimes can reduce the participation and also reduce the revenue sharing rate that goes back to the producers. So this is very shocking to what we usually think about the competition's effect. So actually the culprit is that the competition can cause the producers to spread higher costs across the smaller markets and also lower revenues. And we find that the changes in the revenue sharing rates are not necessarily informative of the health of the platform ecosystem. Even when the revenue sharing rate increases, the profit can decrease. And the participation which not everybody think about, is actually a very meaningful metric of evaluation. And we find that the competition can improve the producer profits when it increases overall ecosystem revenues. And however, the majority of the welfare gain can go to the platforms and the degree of producer heterogeneity, which means that, well, some Uber drivers, they are very efficient. They know how to drive efficiently. Like, for instance, they may have a Prius that can dramatically reduce their gas expense compared to some very expensive producers. They drive, I don't know, like Maseratis to provide the Uber service, right? They have a huge cost. So basically, those things that nobody is considering actually provide, plays a huge role in determining how beneficial competition can be for the producers. So before I go, I really want to, give you some idea about why this is happening. So revenue sharing rate is something that the producers can, get back home, right? Take back home. Then actually, when the platform provide a larger revenue sharing rate, the platform itself will earn smaller revenue for themselves. So if they more smaller revenue, then it's actually they want to reduce the revenue sharing rate so that the platform as our standalone business, they can make some money. However, when there is more revenue sharing rate, then you will see more Uber drivers, Lyft drivers. There will be more participation too. And when you see more participation, actually then increase the demand, right? Why do you choose to use Uber and Lyft in the very first place as a consumer? Because it's convenient. Every time when I request, I can find a service rather than I'm not sure. I've never seen a taxi in the Pacific Northwest. So, so you can see this totally two opposing driving forces that drag the game like this. So I also want to give you some concrete examples. Then you will find, oh, actually my paper can explain why the world is like this. For instance, if you talk to the Gen Z students, they are familiar with Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, and they have a bunch of different choices. However, if you talk with the game developers, they will say, actually, you know what? I still have to pay 30% to the platform for them to list my game, right? So the reason is that actually this platform, they have some differentiations between those game developers on different platforms, but also each and every developer, they have a huge cost. So if you talk to the Xbox game developer versus PlayStation game developer, they will tell you it's very hard, even though you have what is the game? One of the most popular games my husband always plays, FIFA, right? Actually, FIFA, even though it's the same across PlayStation or Xbox, but if you talk with the developers, they will tell you it's completely different channels, even though it's the same game. So this is a high cost that we should not ignore when we consider the health of the platform economy. Another thing is that everybody's on their phone all the time and downloading some fascinating, apps. And we have the Google and we have the Apple. Why still the app developers still need to pay 30%, right? So the reason we find is that, actually those two platforms are differentiated because for consumers, it's very hard. Let's say I have an iPhone and tomorrow I will have an Android phone. It's not gonna be possible. But there is also like quite some the cost then to develop for the different platform. That's why still you see that we have a lot of platforms competing with each other. They still charge a high revenue sharing, high commission rate from the producers and lead them to some endless lawsuit with Epic Games. And next time, I'm not sure who is going to be suing them. But anyways, so basically we find that, to solve this problem, platform competition alone is not the single solution that we can solve this problem. And we really need to think about the different costs, different type of the producers can bear, right? So for the Maserati guys, I don't know, maybe we can reduce their purchasing cost of a Maserati to provide a service to the Uber or Lyft market. And for the app developers, or even some influencers, right? So for the startup influencers, they may have no idea about how to create a video, because I'm teaching social media analytics, and I know that even though my students are willing to consume TikTok all day, every day, but they have no idea about how to create a quality video there. So this is where, the regulators can kick in, or even the platforms can kick in to help those developers, especially the high-cost developers, to reduce the cost so that everybody can benefit from this platform competition. So that's all for my talk, and thank you.